It's day 8. Just walked through a field of cows. I'm skirting the village of Christian Mulford, across to my left, and the river across to my right here. It's a longer walk today compared to previous days. Should make it all the way down to the edge of the market town of Chippenham today. Hopefully got a bit more luck today with farmers after I was viciously attacked by a landowner in my previous video, sprayed with cow muck. It's a lovely day again, and hopefully we've got some adventures in store. We now approach the church in Kingston Michael. Rather pretty stone church. Okay, so the river's just flowing just behind us here. You can see the church off in the background and a Second World War pillbox, obviously protecting the river. Here's a look at some of the countryside we're going to be crossing today. Mainly sort of floodplain, flat areas. That's what lies ahead. Basically around this village there's plenty of footpaths following the river, so no concerns about crossing farmers' fields. It's all well-worn tracks, and I've made it a good way into the walk already. So we are now fast approaching a little brick archway that runs underneath the railway. This is the mainline railway which runs to my left here. It runs from London to Bristol. So you just have a little sight of another weir and the river itself, which you can possibly see behind me off to my right. I did not cross the river at that point, so still continuing south with the river on my right hand side, and I believe up ahead there's a railway bridge, hopefully a nice arched brick railway bridge that we can take a look at. As we approach our first farmyard of the day, we shall see what the welcoming committee is like. And this is the footpath. It's a positive sign from the farmer waving at me today. The actual path itself is completely sodden with mud, and so I'm just walking along next to the track through the field just to take a look and see if I can actually get through this farmyard. So that's a no, footpath not passable. I now have a bit of a detour to follow back to the weir and along the tarmac for a little while. This is a monument to Maud Heath. A monument was put up late 1600s. Now, Maud Heath, who's Maud Heath? So, Maud Heath left money behind at the end of her life to pay for a causeway from the village she lived to the town of Chippenham. That's a route she used to follow to market and to sell eggs. This particular part of the route was put up in the 1800s to replace an earlier wooden structure, and there's various other structures that either celebrate her life or are there to help travellers along their way, along the route. Some really major tree surgery going on here. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, they're only willow trees. Yeah, it's not like it's ash dieback or Dutch elm disease or anything like that, just willows. But they've all the way along here, probably half a mile, they've really smashed back a lot of these trees here. Whether that's for conservation, I don't know. It's interesting. And just across from that bridge we pass another World War II pillbox. Now obviously all these pillboxes were used to protect the river. I believe we saw one on the old branch line as well, close to Great Somerford. This stretch of water you can see along here, which is very much like a canal, just cuts off a bend of the river, so it runs straight rather than in a big loop, big bend. I've no idea what it's for, but it was obviously important with the pillbox located here. Probably cut possibly during the Second World War. Just took a little detour there to show you rapids, I guess we'll call them. It's a nice little spot to paddle there in the summer if it's nice weather. It's a bit shallower than that We're now heading on, cutting across the fields towards Chippenham itself. I haven't actually walked this bit before, so this section of the walk is again entirely new to me. So we'll see what we encounter. River running down in the valley down there. Just gained a little bit of height, which is rather nice actually. Some views across towards the Marlborough Downs out there. And yeah, we're not far from Chippenham now. Now that is quite a mighty drop off on this bridge. Hopefully it can take my weight. I tell you what, let's get off this bridge. I thought at one point I was going to have to ford the stream, but luckily there was a bridge there. We are now in beginning of December, so I think I've been quite lucky. Given the footpaths, I've only had to turn back the once today. That's on the whole walk, so the whole challenge, source to sea. Now this was the first goal, or the ultimate goal at one point, to get to Chippenham from the source of the Avon. And I'm within about, I'd say 5-10 minutes of achieving that goal. Pat on the back. Very happy with myself for getting here. And that's the direction we've come from. See a nice view across North Wiltshire. And that's the direction we're heading in. And south onwards. We are now joining the old route of the Chippenham to Calne branch line. We won't be on here long, just walking back down to the Avon again. But yeah, another little bit of heritage here. We follow this cutting down towards a nice bridge that we'll see in a second. So we made it to the outskirts of Chippenham, and this is Brack Bridge, where the railway line used to run across the Avon here. So this is it for day 8. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can join me on the next episode. Cheers.